Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Thank you for joining us again on this continuous journey, the land of milk and honey, experiencing the changes that we're all at, but also looking at how consciousness is being refined, consciousness elevated, and it's being elevated and refined not through systematic knowledge, not through going to universities, not to growing through various courses or workshops. It's growing through the encounter with the reality of the time right now, with the reality of the time right now. And the reality of the time right now, as anticipated several months ago, you may notice that by winter months, we will begin to see the shift in narrative. We will begin to see the release of the evolved biotoxins, all designed to create panic, to create fear, to create a response, and that response goes towards those who create the fear. So, the aware observer will have noticed a few years ago. Do you remember? There were terrorists everywhere, under our tables, in restaurants, in airports, on planes. You couldn't turn around without coming across a threat to do with terror. And now that uh, entire mental construct based on the fact someone's going to kill you has now gone to the invisible someone that's going to kill you, right? So it's the same tactic, same process. The only difference now is that the reaction that the fear prompts the reaction what is going on, not through their own fault. You must remember, it's all about where the mind has been captured. And if an individual lives in a particular worldview, until that worldview crashes, it's not going to change. So we have to allow for that change to start taking place now. And how is it going to take place? Well, it's going to take place with the obvious evidence that is now starting to hit the screens of those who are glued to the propaganda machines. And what are these obvious evidence? Well, did you know that there has been, as I learned today, a 6,000% increase in the death of footballers and athletes in 2021 compared to any other year? Any other year. And of course, this should prompt the question, one, why is this happening? And I think those who know. Those who don't wish to know. And we have to understand this psychology, that one, those who feel that they have taken an action that's now irreversible, and the evidence begins to become present every day in different ways. And with mainstream sport, it's something that can't be escaped from the normieville, those who are entertained by the boxes. So the cognitive dissonance that we will begin to experience over the next few months will be quite telling. And it will demand a change. It will demand a change in attitude in which one has to be compassionate and caring for those who are now finding themselves in this dreadful state of not knowing the impact of the actions that they have taken, which are irreversible, when the glaring evidence begins to hit them in the face day on day on. So you can imagine this cognitive dissonance that takes place in the individuals. And then there is this need to find a way out. There are certain things that one can do in order to keep their immunity to a level at which it will be resist. See, it's not just about immunity, right? It's also about your general body condition. So, is it acidic? Is it alkaline? So, if you are more inclined to eat meat products, more inclined to eat processed foods, more inclined to smoke nicotine, more inclined to drink alcohol. If we have those kind of habits, then the chances are that the body becomes acidic over time. And that means the blood becomes acidic, right? When I say body, it's blood. Actually, it's more to do with the cells, but we will, for our purposes, we will talk about the internal physiology becomes acidic. So normally, our internal environment to be optimum should be just on the other side of alkaline. So 7.2, 7.3, something like that, maybe 7.4. But on the alkaline side, not too much, not more than that, but certainly not less than 7. So the scale to read acid and alkaline are that the numbers which are below 7 are acidic, the numbers above 7 are alkaline. It is a known fact that when the acidity in the body drops to 6.8 and below, then the chances of cancer become very, very, very prominent. So it's important to first look at maintaining, giving your body the resources to maintain a healthy space. So your cells are not susceptible to infection. That's the first point of call. And to do that, we can do things. Vitamin D3, which we began to talk about right at the start of this whole madness, is now proving to be a really valuable resource in combating infections. Vitamin K2, zinc, um, and as the agenda for those who can see is obvious. The agenda is to better humanity at a global level, to better humanity into a particular space in which they're easy to, it's just a manageable, organic, robotic controlled system. Why is it robotic? Because the intervention alters your genetic DNA and has devices in it which are yet to become evident, but time will tell. So just as last year, all those who spoke in such terms were labeled conspiracy theorists, were labeled as nutters, as tinfoil hat people. We find that all those things that were said then are here plus more. And so therefore, it would be prudent that you don't have to believe everything that is said, but you have to exercise your discernment in order to identify what is going on and question what is happening. So, going back to how we can protect ourselves. Well, the first thing is make sure the body is given those food and water which maintains a kind of an alkaline space and avoid those things that make it acidic. Walking outside on a cold day barefoot in the morning can become quite a remarkable transformational experience, especially if you pour warm water over your feet after standing in the cold for a couple of minutes, not too much. And this too changes our neurological patterns. So there are things that we can do in order for us to remain a little bit more effervescent, a little bit more fresh, a little bit more present, but give our body the appropriate resources. So avoid those things that create an acidic environment. Two, maintain a level of hydration, so you avoid dehydration. Now, the body requires good water, so it's important to have fresh water early in the morning. is always useful, but don't do it over with the water because it will leach some of the chemicals out of you. So it's what the body needs, not what you think the body needs. So just like hunger is a way of finding out if the body needs food, thirst is a way of finding out the body needs water. So maintain that. And obviously, in this current climate of these contagious biotoxins and bioweapons, it's important to exercise those basic hygienic rules, right? But your immunity is your best line of defense. You can use other things. There's another very important ingredient that you may wish to explore. And this you're only exploring because as these variants begin to become more and more ineffective, do not be surprised that if we begin to hear things about smallpox or something of that nature, because this impact on humanity is something that is taking place right this moment. And in the moment of now, if you are unable to see that, then perhaps, you don't deserve to see it. Such is life. Um, but the importance of self-preservation through taking the right action is an extremely valuable step to take right now as we enter December and January and February. Those 3 or 4 months are likely to bring many changes upon us. So, just like today, the weather changed and it's snowing everywhere, and we're unable to get to our banks or anything like that, it's important to have a little bit of cash at home or on person. Or accessible, let's just call it that. Maybe not at home, but accessible, let's call it that. But it's important to be prepared as well in the event of the changes and the impact that has on individuals, on yourself and others, is that if you take care of yourself, then those who are going to go through this cognitive dissonance, as they discover the level of betrayal, is going to be of a profound nature, and it may be here, just the start of this in the next few weeks and months, but it is likely to be here for many, many years and increasing exponentially as we go along. So important to exercise that general humanity, that caring nature. What can I do for another? What can I do for another that does not allow me to be harmed? That's the important thing. So, vitamin D, those kind of things keep our immunity together. But more importantly, what is it that can be done for those who now find themselves in this rather difficult predicament of these ever changing variants, these ever changing boosters, this ever changing degradation of the immunity, which will inevitably lead you to death, which is exactly what you're trying to avoid. So the irony is that the solution is the poison. That's the irony. But those who can see. Those who can't, can't. Sometimes our belief systems are the blindfolds to our understanding. And if we believe that which we are told by those we hold in authority, then we need to be deceived by those who we believe and we hold in our authority. So if your source of wisdom and knowledge comes from a box of a bunch of corrupt politicians and scientists, then those are your authority figures. And that's what we deserve. But if yours comes from your own sovereignty, self knowledge, self realization, and wisdom, then that's what one deserves. So things are the way they need to be. No one is to blame for anything. Everything is exactly as it needs to be. All we need to do is to just settle ourselves within ourselves. And as I've said in my write up today, sit back, enjoy the collapsing and changing systems. As one falls, a new one emerges, and the new one allows us the opportunity to create a way of living in which our children will not be victims but will be able to flourish. They will not be victims chasing some endless tale of success or prestige or finance, but actually health, value their humanity, and value. We will go today and exploring this whole theme, right, of the meditation. And what does meditation ultimately teach us? Meditation will allow you to recognize one simple fact. And that fact is that you and I and all that surrounds you is a process that is a happening. It's not a being, it's not a doing, it is a happening. And by a happening, you are not the happening. The happening is happening to what you think you are. So in meditation, let me arrange myself. So in meditation, we begin to become aware of ourselves. And in becoming aware of ourselves, we begin to become aware of that which we are not. So today's meditation, I'd like to break it down in experiential manner. So we may look at ourselves in the mirror and we see a body and we say, well, that's who I am. Let's assume that we begin with something like that. And then we may go into meditation and find that stillness and peace, and we'll say, no, 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 that's what I am. So between knowing the body and being aware of that still in silence, there is a filling between the slices of bread, let's call it that. And this filling is made out of 5 layers. The first layer is the physical layer, right? And the physical layer is the solid layer. So everything that is solid in you and I, our nails, our skin, the bones, the cells, all of that, that's solid. So if one is cremated, basically you end up like half a bag of sugar. So that's the amount of solids that are in our body. Then the next thing that we look within our body is liquid. So within this solid bag and structure of the framework, the actual bones and ribs and all that stuff, we have veins and arteries and capillaries running, which carry with them liquid. And all our cells are like little bags. They too contain a liquid. So our entire body mass, 70% or so, is liquid water or liquid. Let's call it liquid. So that's the other part of you. Now, the solid element of you comes from the stuff you eat. So if you can only eat, that comes from the earth. So the solid element of you is in some way no different than the earth. It can't be any different from it because the food that you and I eat comes from the earth, right? It could be an animal grazing on it, it could be a plant. Ultimately, the drawing of nutrients comes from the earth, which are then converted into our solid mass. The liquid element in our body is no different from the rivers, the oceans, the rain, the moisture, the clouds, the dewdrops. It's the same stuff. So there is liquid that we expel today and the liquid that we'll take in tomorrow. And the liquid that we take in tomorrow is already present outside us that we're going to take in. And the liquid that goes out of us goes from within us into the external environment. So that's the liquid element of you exchanging. The third element is that within the structure of the body, the framework, the blood vessels, the lymph glands, the lymph nodes, all those, there are nervous system, and there within that nervous system there is a spectrum. So on the one side there is the physical nerve, and this spectrum also goes towards the meridian and the nadis. So there are 72,000 of these nadis, these internal channels that carry with them energy, life force. So the nervous system carries electrical impulses. Those electrical impulses are no different than the flame on a candle or the light in the sun or any other fire. It's effectively a form of a plasma. Yeah, energy in very high energy matter. Let's call it that. So that fire is what we experience as sensations. So that's the third element. The fourth element within us is the element of air. And if you bring your focus to your breath, you begin to notice that the breath comes in and the breath goes out. Yeah. So that the element of air, the element of gas, gas is different from liquid, gas is different from fire, gas is different from solid. Gas goes within the body, gas comes out of the body. Yeah, gaseousness. So air goes in the body, oxygen is taken in, carbon dioxide, and nitrogen is released. Right, nitrogen being the kind of part of the atmosphere that we're taking in and out, and other bits and bobs. So this air element is separate from the water element, the fire element, the solid element, and you and I can experience it. Then the fifth element in all of our existence, in you and I, is the element of space, right? So this exists in my mouth, it exists in my nostrils, in fact, within the capacity in which the blood flows. It is within the myelin sheaths around my nervous system. It is in all sorts of different ways within our entire being. We have pockets of space. And that space is no different from the space outside. So the space inside my mouth is no different from the space that's outside my mouth. So that's the fifth element. Now, the space element cannot be mixed with the air element, but the air element can function in the space element. The air element can be pushed into the liquid element and dissolves for a while, but then it escapes. So that too, the two are different. And the same for the others. So, in our meditation, we begin to recognize that all of these five elements are continuously being interchanged, being changed, each one by itself, and each one interrelated with the others, but separate. And this is happening without your consent. You know, we talk about consent. Well, you are a happening that is happening, and it is happening without your consent because you have no consent in how fast or how slow this happens. You have no consent in when it begins to stop or when it suddenly stops. There is no consent. This recognition of the elements and the recognition of willlessness, the recognition of the happening allows us to discover an element of trust and certainty within ourselves. But in order to get to that truth of trust and certainty, we need to cross this barrier of these five elements. So we'll begin today with that. So straighten your back, and it's always a good exercise to stretch the spine a little bit. Always a good exercise. It's said that if you have a good spine, supple spine, the rest of the body works reasonably well. I'll let you know otherwise. Pull your shoulders back. Make sure that your neck is straight and upright, as is your head. So you want to feel upright and you want to feel erect. You want to feel this level of confidence in your sitting, in your asana. Actually, the asana should be a knowing, but in this case, it's our physical posture. So our physical posture is upright. We take a breath in and we do a quick scan of the body itself with our eyes closed and our mouth closed. Now, if you can't breathe in through your nose, of course, you can breathe in through your mouth, but it helps if you breathe in through your nose. And take a scan of the body, however quick, from the top all the way down. Notice your posture. Notice if your body feels balanced and stable. Is there any movement within your body at this moment? Okay. Bringing your focus to whatever you're sitting on and allow your body to feel and experience the support that's holding it. And what this means is that you can afford to soften your body somewhat. Okay. Notice the sensations where your body makes contact with wherever you are sitting, whatever you're sitting on. Now those sensations are in fact these impulses, these electrical impulses. Bring your focus to your hips. Notice any sensations that are dominant. And then as you breathe out, allow your focus to go down your thighs. From your knees, move down to your ankles. From your ankles, you move to your feet. And then see if you can notice the soles of your feet. Notice that your back is straight and upright. And if you bring your focus up, so you move from your lower back to your middle back to your shoulder blades. Notice your shoulders. And as you breathe out, down to your elbows, moving your focus to your wrists, becoming aware of your palms, and then moving to your fingers. On your next breath in, bring your focus to your eyes. Notice the darkness. And as you breathe out, allow this part of the body to soften. On your next breath in, bring your mouth. No sensations within your mouth. As you breathe out, allow your tongue to soften. On your next breath out, allow your face to soften. On your next breath in, aware of the body as a whole. Notice your posture. Next breath in, bring your focus to your inner space. By that we mean our thoughts and our general sense of how we feel. So bringing your focus first to your thoughts. Are there Is there something that's dominating your thinking at the moment? Bringing your focus to your chest. Notice the movement of your chest. It is totally non-consensual. There is no consent on the breath as it comes in, breath as it goes out. Notice the movement of the chest. And with those movements, there are sensations around your body. Maybe very subtle. See if you can notice them. Moving your focus a bit deep into yourself, almost the chest, in the middle of the body itself. This resides there. Notice if you can. How do you feel in this moment now? Does this moment feel comfortable, pleasant, settled, uncomfortable, unsettled? How do you feel right now? Gently bring your focus just beneath your nose. Begin to notice the movement of your breath. Notice how that movement moves from moment to moment, breath to breath. Moment to moment, breath to breath. Notice how you're embedded in this moment. The ground beneath you is the only ground that can hold you. In other words, you can't be anywhere else. The space around you is the only space that can hold you. You can only be where you are. Embedded. Begin to recognize the happening. On your next breath out, become aware of your body as best as you can. Bringing your focus to the surface of your noticing the solid element of your body, the skin. Notice the teeth, how the neck and the bones within the body hold it together. Shoulders, and as you move down your arms, scanning the surface of your skin, hands, fingers, nails, scanning the surface of your skin, becoming aware and recognizing the solid element of your skin, teeth, bones that hold it together. Hold your awareness as best as you can, connecting to the solid element of your body through the surface of your skin. Slow, deep breath in. Hold and relax. Bringing your focus now to the saliva in your mouth. This connects you to the liquid element. The same liquid element that runs through your blood stream, same liquid element that's been pumped around by your heart, your lymph system, your sweat, your tears, all liquid element in your body connected through the cell in your mouth. Hold your focus as best as you can, aware of the liquid element running through your body, running in every cell. Slow, deep breath in. Hold and relax. On your next breath in, becoming aware of those sensations within your body. Notice the sensations in the body. On the lower part of your body. Sensations that you can feel on the surface of your body. Becoming aware of the fire element. The fire element that it runs impulses throughout the electrical system of your body. As best as you can, hold your awareness on the sensations of your body. Sensations within the body. Sensations around your lips, mouth. Hold your focus on those sensations as best as you can. Slow, deep breath in. Hold and relax. Next breath in, bringing your focus beneath your nose and connecting to the air element. Notice how the air element flows by itself. Breath moving in, breath moving out. And as it moves in, that breath reaching every single. Notice the movement of your breath, the air element of your body. How the in-breath is no different from the out-breath as an element, the element being gas. Slow, deep breath in, hold, and relax. As your breath comes in, become aware of the space inside your mouth. And the same space, element, exists throughout your body in pockets. Your nose, your ears, your ear ducts, your eyes, sockets. On your next breath out, begin to open your awareness to all the sounds around you, filling the space around you. And as you begin to hear and listen to the sounds around you, becoming a space around you. Notice how this space reaches infinity and silence. Allowing us to access this infinity through silence and stillness. When you're ready, bring your focus just beneath your nose, sitting with your breath. Knowing that all that's around you by itself. The breath breathes by itself. Quickly, you begin to access the silence as you follow the bell. Gently bring your focus beneath your nose. Being present to the flow, creative consciousness that you are. Simply flow. On your next, expand your awareness, become body as best as you can. Notice the stillness in the body. Notice that the back is still straight and upright. Notice you can have sensations where your body makes contact with the chair or the floor. Thighs, knees, moving down to your feet and the soles of your feet. Back is straight and upright. Shoulders, arms, hands are relaxed and comfortable. Eyes are still closed, mouth is still closed, and the face is relaxed. Going back to your breathing in, you can sense your body. Breathing out, you can sense your body. When you hear the next bell, use this bell to draw a few deep breaths in. And when you're ready, gently opening your eyes. Take your time.